be one of the last 3 teams to go in this upcoming second round. To give us some perspective as to how Madrid in Motion have performed, we've asked team manager Erik van der Vleuten to come and join us in the studio to give us some thoughts, to give us some reaction. Meneer, welkom. Dankjewel, Erik. Must be very happy with the round 1 performance. Fantastic double clear.
Of course, we are very happy with the first round, but it's not finished yet.
Yeah. When you saw the fences going down in round 1, we saw Stockholm Hearts struggle, Riesenbeck struggle, Shanghai Swans struggle. Did you think that maybe scores of 0 was not going to be possible? Because at one stage it looked like it was going to be a very high scoring night.
Yes, it was, but I expected a couple of clears. The course was nice, was fair, was delicate. It was hard to jump clear, but I think the good horses could jump clear in the first round.
You've just finished walking what will be the second round. Give me some highlights. What stood out for you? It looks very big. It looks very challenging.
Yes. This is a complete different course. That's what I say. It's not finished yet because I think the course is very tough now with a lot of turns, a lot of options for the riders, and some difficult lines, a big triple combination. So anything can happen.
Talk to me about the round 2 changes. I see Michael comes out, Kim Emmen and Imagine goes in. What's the thinking behind the change?
Yeah, we would start today. Beauville was first, was one of the first big shows he did again, so we put him in the first round together with Eduardo, with Legend, who was actually in good form also in Shanghai with a good Grand Prix. So we thought to start with those, and then Kim's horse has been jumping very well, actually the whole season already. So we put her in for the second round, and hopefully we can do good.
Kim Emmen was one of the team changers for 2025. She was new to Madrid in Motion. Talk to me about Kim as a rider, about the firepower in the stable. What does Kim offer Madrid in Motion?
Yeah, I think she's very good for us. She's a very good rider. She has good horses, and I think she can perform well on important moments, what we saw already in Paris at the Olympics. So I hope she can bring us something for our team this season.
If round 2 is bigger and maybe a little more scary, what is a winning score here tonight, Erik?
Okay, that's always hard to say, but I'm not sure that we're going to win with clear rounds today.
Okay. Erik van der Vleuten, thank you. Best of luck for round 2.
Thank you so much.
We'll maybe have a spot for Madrid in Motion here by the end of the night?
We hope so.
We hope so. All right, you can make your way out. Erik van der Vleuten, thank you very much. Just give you some results and remind you as to how things then ended at the end of Global Champions League round 1. Some thoughts and reaction from Erik van der Vleuten, the manager of Madrid in Motion, who lead the way going into that second round. They are the best team out of GCL round 1. Finishing quicker than the Saint-Tropez Pirates, quicker than the Cannes Stars, and because of that, they will be the last team to go. A change, I remind you, that Erik van der Vleuten has talked about now. Eduardo Alvarez-Alsna and Legend stick for round 2. Michael van der Vleuten makes his way out, and Kim Emmen on Imagine will come in for that second round. Prague Lions finishing in 4th. New York Empire doing really well. They're on just 5 penalties. And Riesenbeck International, one of the surprises, on 8 with Aventador and Marco Kutscher. The big conversation now from a round 1 into a round 2 is all about the changes. We remind you, in between round 1 and round 2, managers have the opportunity to make changes. They can make changes to the horses that they select. They can make changes to the riders that they select for that upcoming second round. It's all part of the strategy. It's all part of the thinking ahead in this game. Let's cross now to Dan Strange, give us some reaction and some updates to some of those changes. Dan, let's talk about those teams on the triple teams on double clear. Let's talk about the big names that have struggled. Talk to me about significant changes for GCL round 2.
I think the most significant change, we saw they struggled a bit. Struggled is a difficult word to say about this team. Shanghai Swans, they change. EIC up to Jacko Blue comes in for Max Kuhner. So Max Kuhner coming in for Christian Aumann for the Shanghai Swans, and Point Break, a incredible horse, comes in for Ben Mayer. So they play the best horses they can put out here to try and salvage some points from this weekend. For Monaco Comets, Ines Joly, she heads out for the second round in the team competition at least. And who do they bring in? Well, Madrid in Motion's, not Madrid in Motion, Madrid's LGCT Grand Prix winner, Yoli Mitalolu. She comes in to take the place for Ines as Monaco Comets try to get the best result they can. For Cannes Stars, well, Sophie Hinners, she'll ride Iron Dame's My Prince in round 2. Messi retains the place in the second round for Jana as Cannes Stars look for that opening win. And Dorados, well, he comes in with Duarte Seabra. So Saint-Tropez looking for back-to-back podiums. Can they get them? Mark, there are a number of changes. Stockholm Hearts and Paris Panthers, the only two teams to make no changes at all down at the bottom of the standings.
All right, Dan Strange, thank you very much for that update. We'll give you a better understanding across the board from the team's changes in a few moments' time. Dan focusing on some of those major teams that have made some decisions, some horse changes, some rider changes, and all of that is going to have an impact in this upcoming second round of Global Champions League action live from Cannes, Stage 5 here in 2025. This is what the start list looks like. This will give you a bigger picture, a wider picture to understand what has taken place from round 1 into the second round. As we said, Paris Panthers, they'll be the first team out the gate. They go on with no changes as Monaco Comets, powered by the Iron Dames, as he pointed out. Yoli Mitlineo coming in, Edwina Tops Alexander making a horse change from Corelli into fellow Castlefield. Scandinavian Vikings, well, they go on to make a horse change for Jörg Freeling as well. The Rome Gladiators, powered by Cavalleria Toscana. We see then a rider change as well, as John Whittaker will play no place in that second round. And let's maybe end it on the Shanghai Swans. You talk about the luxury that we spoke about earlier. Ben Mayer can swap out Ginger Blue for Point Break. Max Kuhne can swap out Christian Ullmann for himself. And despite having some difficulties in that first round, the Shanghai Swans still look incredibly dangerous for that upcoming second round. A reminder, they're at the bottom with a big EL to stand for eliminated. The Doha Falcons have been eliminated from round 1 and will play no part. So this will be a 16-team second round of Global Champions League action. What a beautiful shot that, as we see the sun beginning to slowly set behind the buildings here on this beautiful skyline in the Côte d'Azur here in the French Riviera. This is going to light up for that second round as the floodlights will come on, and we are set to have a beautiful summer's evening here in the French Riviera to wrap up the Global Champions League round 2. We talk about the Saint-Tropez Pirates. Were they a surprise to finish on double clear along with the Cannes Stars and Madrid Emotion? Perhaps, perhaps not. When we catch up with Duarte Seabra, who rides Dorados in that second round, to get some thoughts on that Saint-Tropez Pirates performance.
Duarte, a good opening round for Saint-Tropez. The change coming in, of course, to the second round. You come in and Dorados. What's your expectation from him?
Well, the expectations are always high, which is not always a good thing for me, because I have the pressure, because I know I have a very experienced horse. He's done this before a good few times, so we all in the team expect a good result from me and Dorados. So let's go for it.
Statistically, he's just under 25% clear at this height. How different is it going 155 up to 160 for someone who may not watch show jumping week in, week out?
It does make a big difference. When we step up to 160, it's like we can see in the results here in the teams, the difference, the number of clear rounds that we get in the 155, in the 160. So it does get more serious. Obviously, also in the teams, when we wear the jacket for the team, the pressure, it's there as well. So when we ride individual, it's always a bit easier. But yeah, it does make a big difference. And sometimes when we do well in the first round, a lot changes to the second round when it comes to 160.
Max jumped very well on debut here. You podiumed in Madrid. Double clear here in Cannes. Can you push on and get a top 2 finish for the first time this season?
I think so. We've been very close. Even in Shanghai we were top 6. I think 1 fence down from winning. So everything is very close here. So we felt like we could do it in Madrid. We got a really good result with Max. So hopefully to get a good result here again.
Duarte, to you and the Saint-Tropez Pirates. Good luck today, Mark. Saint-Tropez, they're boiling away under the surface. Let's see if they can get on the podium again.
Is there an opportunity for the Saint-Tropez Pirates to find themselves on a podium by the end of tonight? We'll find out in a few moments' time. A reminder, Duarte Seabre comes in today on Dourados. We then see Max Watchman go out, and Mariano Martinez Bastida will make no change and once again go on to ride Yup later on tonight. Prague Lions, powered by the Czech equestrian team, see a horse change for Fernando Martinez Soma. FMS swaps out Lady and brings in High Five. And Tibo Spitz will once again jump Impress K, jumping clear in the opening round, looking to try and replicate that in round 2. Get some more reaction from Dan Strange, standing alongside Tibo Spitz. Let's hear from the young Belgian. Dan, what does Tibo have to say for round 2?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Well, Tibo, it's cooling down here in the arena. How cool do you feel ahead of round 2?
Okay, I think we're ready. Horses were good, so I think we're ready for round 2.
Impress K at the moment just seems to be jumping out of his skin. Tonight you'll expect a lot, you always do, but how did he settle in the first round in the arena?
Well, good. He was good here last year. Felt good in the first round. So yeah, I have a lot of confidence for the second round.
FMS had one down.
Yep.
You went relatively early in real terms across round 1. At the point that you went, 4 faults looked very good, bearing in mind other teams had 8 faults, Riesenbeck and Shanghai had 12 faults. How happy with just 4 faults were you when you look at the whole of round 1?
Yeah, of course, in the end we're still in 4th place, so we're very happy with that. I think when we just came out, we didn't expect to be in 4th place for the second round to start, so we're very happy with that.
It's close within the upper echelons of the league, and you're 4th, 5th this season at the moment. How important are rounds like this? Not necessarily to go and win from your position, which you still could, but to make sure that you're, edging onto the podium, picking up big points, from rounds where you probably go into the second round not quite as favourites.
No, I think now for us it's just very important to deliver consistent results, to just always be close around the podium, as you say. I think that's what we tried to do, and that of course in Prague that we could be that we could skip day 1. Be great.
I just want to jump to talking about the course for a moment. Excuse the pun, jumping. We got fence 11 behind us, which is right at the end of the course, and another of those tight turns with this tight arena. How does that fence look to you with a lovely, delicate plank put on top of it?
Yeah, of course, it looks very delicate, but okay, I think you just come out of the turn, so you can decide your own distance. For me, I think the last one, also a plank, will be a bit more delicate as you have a line towards it. But okay, I think it's a big course. It's definitely a hole bigger than the first round, so I think still a lot will happen.
Tibo, you've been a star to hang around and talk to us. Thank you so much. Go and get ready, and good luck to yourself and Prague Lions.
Thank you.
Mark, it's always great to talk to Tibo, because for such a young rider, he is, as I said at the start, so cool. Prague Lions, those 4 faults will frustrate FMS, but it definitely doesn't put Prague Lions out of the running here in Cannes. Let's see how round 2 unveils.
Absolutely, Dan. Thank you very much. And as Tibo points out, it's all about being in and around the podium. You're right. They might not go on to win it on 4 penalties, but they will do themselves a huge favor from a championship points grab if they were to continue to just hover around those top teams, because there are some big points up for grabs from Tibo Spitz, from Fernando Martinez Soma as well. Let's play the what-if game. If we were to see things end exactly as they are, and there would be a victory for Madrid in Motion, a second-place finish for Saint-Tropez Pirates and Cannes Stars, this is how things would end. The Shanghai Swans would still lead the championship, but they would only have a 2-point lead over the Cannes Stars. Falcons White United in 3rd. Madrid in Motion would put up a big jump. They would move up to 86 and all of a sudden find themselves in a GCL Super Cup semi-final position. Saint-Tropez Pirates in 5th, and the Prague Lions, like Tibo Spitz says, if they were to collect 19 points, finishing in and around that podium, they will pick up championship points and all of a sudden enter that top 4 race that we will explain more throughout the rest of the season. Dan, getting more thoughts, getting more reaction for us. Let's go back into the ring. I believe that Lorenzo De Luca is standing by along with Dan Strange. Let's get his thoughts on the upcoming second round.
Falcons Vard United won in Madrid. Lorenzo De Luca is alongside me. Lorenzo, you ride Japaloop in this round. I just want to have a look at fence 12. Yeah. So you're clear at this point, hopefully, coming into this Oxer. We spoke about the wings. You said the seahorses won't affect the horse. How do these trees being put in this Oxer?
They're going to, of course, be really focused on the trees, and this light blue is a very delicate jump, so we need to watch out on the front pole, but still is a really wide Oxer, very scopy. So between the Liverpool and the trees, they're going to, of course, get a little bit distracted, especially by the end, then they're going to be a little bit more tired, so it's a big effort.
Ollie went clear in the first round. Self-belief in Falcons Vard United at the moment really is top-notch. How do you feel ahead of the second round? How confident are you that you can go and score good points again?
I mean, Ollie's horse jump unbelievable. I'm riding my good horse, Japaloop, that has been in top form, so hopefully he can deliver a good clear round now.
Well, thank you for your time. Good luck in the second round, Lorenzo. It's always brilliant to talk to you. And can Falcons Vard United get back-to-back wins? Well, it's a long time since that's happened, Lorenzo. It's been fabulous. Let's see how it goes as Dennis Lynch just finishes his course walk, ready for the second round here in Cannes.
Dan Strange, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Lorenzo De Luca. Only two teams not making changes in that second round, the Paris Panthers and Stockholm Hearts. They are the only two that have made no rider or horse changes, showing a lot of faith and perhaps some bravery in their lineup for that upcoming second round. We are moments away from the starting point of that. Once again, we remind you that Paris Panthers will be the first team to come out the gate after that very heavy 33 penalties in that opening round. The Monaco Comets, powered by the Iron Dames, they'll be disappointed with their early start time. They then will come out in second place. Jolly Miclineo coming in for Ines Jolie. La Perla van Hefnik will go on to be jumped by Jolly, and the Scandinavian Vikings will be third out to go, and you will follow the rest of the action as we continue here. Keep an eye on the Shanghai Swans, keep an eye on the Stockholm Hearts, and then those teams hovering around the double clear, and those three on double clear. Is the winner coming from that group? We'll find out in a few moments' time. Global Champions League Round 2 is next.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 2 of the GCL leg 5 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. Brand new season. We are here on the French Riviera. GCL leg 5 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. Brand new season. We are here on the French Riviera. Film Festival, Seaside Port of Cannes since 2006. We've had a brilliant afternoon of sport already. And we've been coming here since 2006. We've had a brilliant afternoon of sport already. Brewed after the afternoon. This is the 8th edition of the GCL here alongside Sienna Charles, his sister. Really brewed after the afternoon. Having a really good time. The Charles here alongside Sienna Charles, his sister. It's been really challenging the first round. Good time. The Corset by Werner Bezzoni, Italian Masters got in store for us in GCL really challenging the first round because that first round course was a true Italian Masters got in store for us in GCL round 2. And Marco because that first round course was a true jury here led by Maurice Caillot. This is the mastermind. Iliano, his jury here led by Maurice Caillot. This is the mastermind. At 80 seconds is the time allowed for GCL round 500 meters. Kilometre exactly. Which also doubles up as the Grand Prix qualifier for GCL round 2 showdown. This evening. Defending champions also doubles very good in GCL round 1 qualifier for Saturday night here last year. With many champions, looks very good in GCL round 1. The crowd having one here last year. World class has been glamorous, of course, here in Cannes. And the crowd having a treat. Her first Longines Global Champions Grand Prix with us last time in Madrid. And as I mentioned, her first Longines Global Champions Grand Prix with us last time in Madrid. And as I mentioned, that is the defending Grand Prix champion here for Mexico, Migos Zimmerman. Ben Verrek and Nicolas Belmont. That's on the course. Suspecting from Mexico. Migos has got up his very seasoned sleeve for us this evening. Suspecting was he just won his third very seasoned sleeve for us this evening. Said last Saturday. He just won his third. He is the owner manager of Hamburg. Istanbul Warriors last Saturday. And Lepesyahi is the owner manager of the Great Istanbul Warriors. This is a scene, and welcome to GCL round 2. It will be 56 combinations that we... This is a scene, and welcome to GCL round 2. It will be 56 combinations that we launch into action with a brilliant pair. They won at Le Sort Hermes, they won at Sartogenbosch, and Cayman Jolly Jumper for Simon Delestre will be the first out. Harry Smolder's got one of the best horses we've ever seen in World Show Jumping. Monaco to come early. And that's a very good horse for Geoffrey Puck. Equitron Naxel, the fifth, won a 4-star Grand Prix in Doha back in January at 16. Harry Charles got the horse that won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of London last year in Sherlock. And Sienna will come 3 after her brother. And there is Yoli Mittelineo, not with Latita Toxandra, but one in Madrid. It is La Perla van der Heffing for the Greek rider. Ben Mayo, world number 2, will be preceded or followed by Max Kuna in a very strong mid-session rush of world stars. Oliver Fletcher, the young rider European champion. And Emanuele Camilli, he won his first Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix with that horse, Chaco's Girl Star in Mexico. As did Tibo Spitz last year in Rusenbeck. Again, the Grand Prix fell to Thibaut with Impress. And the end of it, well, Kim Emman has got her very strong grey Imagine to anchor GCL round 2 this evening. There's a little light breeze out there. It's a perfect evening, and welcome to the French Riviera. This is the Côte d'Azur. And we start here with the Longines Global Champions Tour back in 2006. And we've had 7 former GCL champions therefore, and only Valkenswaard United have won here twice. They did the double back-to-back wins in 2017 and 2018. And the defending champions, Stockholm Hearts, they won last year. Marlon Bard-Johnson, Nicolas Philippas, and the young Frenchman Antoine Herman. There's a mixture of a relaxed atmosphere, a glamorous occasion, and of course intense world-class horse sport, which is the perfect cocktail that Jan Tops serves up once again here. There's a Luca, he's seen it all before. He'll be unflustered into round 2. But yes, take a picture, grasp the moment. It will be a very, very good evening. From myself, Ed Holloway, it's great to have your company. There's Cannes Stars, they were the season's champions last year. Sophie Hinnes and Jan Friedrich Zimmermann round up an okay afternoon for them so far. But a very good evening, and welcome to GCL round 2 here in Cannes. It is going to be 24 individual combinations to come prior to the GCL round 2 for the teams starting. And what a man to get us into action. And as I say, these individuals are here because they want to qualify for the Grand Prix here on Saturday night. The best 40 of this class we will take through into the Grand Prix, and should one of those 40 withdraw prior to Saturday night's big showdown, we'll go down to 41, 42, 43, the placings of tonight's GCL round 2, to give us a total number of 40 to return for the Grand Prix here on Saturday. Now this course of Ilana Vezzani looks fascinating. Simon Lester will show us the way around the course. It's 8 strides down to the multicoloured vertical at 155. Won the 5-star Grand Prix in Sartogenbosch, and then the following week won the Sort Hermes' Grand Prix in Paris, both with this horse Cayman Jolly Jumper back in March. Simon now turns left-handed into this very early treble combination, 5A, B and C, 2 and 1, the stride pattern. And this horse, the son of Hickstead, the Olympic champion in 08 with Eric Lamaze, soars down through the first of the technical combinations. There are 2 planks on this course, both at 160. They both come late at 11. The Longines plank And the final fence is brutal as a plank as well, again at 160. There's a beautifully crafted horse heads on either side of that combination, 9A and B, 8 meters and 20 down through there. Cayman turns back to this very big penultimate fence, and Simon de Lestre down to the final fence here with Cayman Jolly Jumper. He jumps a stunning opening round in GCL round 2, so virtually secures his qualification for the Grand Prix here on Saturday night. The best 40, as I say, 56 starters, so well done to Simon de Lestre. He will return to battle. He hasn't won the Grand Prix here previously in Cannes. Can he continue his magic form of 2025? We're off to a strong start. This lady in GCL round 1 had her first start for Deborah Meyer's brand new team Monaco Comets. It was a tough start for Ines Joly, and I'm afraid the first fence goes. This son of Comme Il Faut, it is Crackdown Guizet on the track. This lady who was a former nurse, she worked in surgery prior to devoting to the saddle and show jumping. From Saint-Étienne near Lyon initially. This horse formerly with Julien Coutin, and now we've just seen Simon de Lestre. But the mid part, that is massive, 162. Now the GCL treble goes secondary for Ines Joly. Her win came in Monaco. What a win that was on the Longines Global Champions of the Grand Prix last year. Her first 5-star Grand Prix win in the wake of Jean Sadron's first 5-star Grand Prix win in Paris, but I'm afraid the first fence and both of the combinations scalping Ines Joly's scorecard. It's going to be 3 down. The Crackdown Guizet for this very talented rider. I can tell you that in GCL round 1 there were 21 out of 57 clears overall, and in the GCL team competition itself there were 13 out of 34, so 1 in 3 only in the team competition had clears. That was how demanding that course of Ilana Vetsani was. Tough afternoon into evening, I'm afraid, for Ines Joly, and her fortunes do not improve. It is 16 penalties for Crackdown Guizet for France's rising star Ines Joly. This man's string of Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix wins is as long as my arms and legs combined. Christian Alman gets underway, and I'm 6'3". Won in Estoril, Hamburg, 2011, 2013, Valkenswaard 2014, 2017, Berlin, Paris 2019, Stockholm 2022, and Paris in 2023. And he won the big Hamburg Grand Prix last weekend with Dorken Hero Z. On course is this wonderful new ride for Christian. Untouched LB, son of United Touch, S, cross the corner to Blensky. Gets off to a perfect start. Christian had 1 down in GCL round 1. But bear in mind, this horse is only at his 3rd 5-star week. It's his first Longines Global Champions Tour starts. But his 5-star Grand Prix debut was dazzling. Grand Prix Hermès in Paris, that was won by the combination we saw first out for the clear. That was 4th in behind Simon and Cayman in March. Christian talks a lot about Dorken Hero's qualities in the wake of the Hamburg win last Saturday, but this horse again I think is another one in similar vein. Yes, another fence down, but Untouched LB looks like a red-hot prospect for Christian Alman as he comes down to the end of Ilana Vetsani's course. Or number 57 jumps home. 1 down in each of the GCL rounds, but I suspect that will be enough to see Christian Alman coming back on Saturday evening as he bids for back-to-back weekend 5-star Grand Prix wins. the new starter on one of the best horses we've seen over the last decade in world show jumping. This pair were 5th in the Super Grand Prix in Prague in 2023. They were 3rd in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in London, forgive me, in 2023. That was Harry's 2nd season victory. He won in 2017 with the win in Chantilly that year for his 1st season championship victory. Monaco sets off at a storming pace for Harry Smulders as he comes out over that Liverpool. Fence 3 taken at the gallop. Harry started riding at 8 years of age. His sister's pony was due to be sold. He took the ride. That was what initiated Harry's extraordinary career. Took him to world number 1 in 2018. That's the skinny. The GC skinny 155 by 160. Now Harry Smulders travels back to the big violet spirals 155 by 110. The skinny. Monaco looking razor sharp here in Cannes as he bids for a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win once again. Their best finish was in Valkenswaard last year. That was 2nd in behind Lorenzo De Luca and Denver de Talma. But Harry Smulders comes racing home. He's outside time of Simon de Lestre. He won't worry. Of course, the prize money in this class is very, very generous. €105,500 is the prize purse, but the overall goal of his individual riders is to qualify for the Grand Prix here on Saturday night. Harry Smulders does that. No question, Monaco looking very, very good. Et voilà, l'homme incroyable. We welcome Julien Epaillard. He is the world number 12, and this outstanding homebred Donatello Dorge, who lifted Julien's first World Cup final in Basel back in April, is on the course. Julien hails from Lisieux-Nécamp up in Normandy. This outstanding horse has won so many Grand Prix over his career. Donatello, he's still only 12. Jarnac's son, Crossy Hello, Pierreville, out of Salle-Francais, Stubbock. But yeah, Julien takes the vertical into the treble, 155 tall it stood. And now I'm afraid it's a little bit lower. It's a real surprise early mistake for this outstanding pair. Julien actually won this class last year with Dubai du Cèdre. Went on to be 15th in behind Jan-Frederik Zimmermann with Dubai 1 year ago. But this is a surprise here because Julien has not won the Grand Prix here. And now on the cusp of whether he will qualify or not is looking very much in doubt. We have seen 8 penalty scores over the season already this year coming back on Grand Prix day, but just depends how the others fare. Julien Epaillard's left the door open to be excluded from the Grand Prix that has excluded him. Disappointing. And Julien has 8 penalties with Donatello Dorge this evening, and one of the home favourites looking, yeah, as I say, borderline to return for Saturday night's Grand Prix. The new starter, the great German veteran who was a sensational second back on the podium. That was leg 4 in Madrid behind Yolomita Leneo. We welcome Marco Kutscher to the starts. And Marco is aboard Catelli this evening, 13 years of age. Also over that opening 160 tall vertical. Fence 3 little dog leg left-hander into the Longines, so 150 by 160. This pair yet to jump a Grand Prix this season with us, so they were in Mexico City, they were in Madrid. Catelli, former rider of the Dane, Lars Bak Andersen. But yes, the round already into trouble. Marco Kutscher. What an extraordinary horseman he's been. The quality of the German horsemen and women. We just sit back and marvel, whether it's Ludger Beerbaum, Frankus Lutak, Daniel Deusser, Markus Enning. Just has gone on from strength to strength over the decades and generations. And this man, another one, former European champion, former double bronze medal winner at the Athens Olympics back in 2004, that was just out of the highest order that German show jumping has produced over the years, as we saw to full effect in Madrid. But Catelli, I'm afraid, will again, and with time as well having to represent out on the course, is again dubious of returning for the Grand Prix here on Saturday. Marco Kutscher, after that wonderful second in Madrid, comes home with Catelli not the round he wanted in the wake of that superb Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix podium. This is a majestic scene that will welcome one of the home favourites. Nicolas Delmotte will come forward as combination number 7 of GCL Round 2's batch of individuals that are 24 in number. This is Nicolas' first Longines Global Champions Tour start this year, and he is number 130. And a very good Grand Prix will go to Ramatour Saint-Tropez for the next leg. That was 4th in 2021 with Vosso de Roc. Discovered horse riding as a boy at a club in northern France, and trained extensively with Bertrand de Balabre for 20 years, and with Eric Naveille, who's at the helm of Carl Cook's impressive programme. Now 0.18 of a second advantage here over Simon de Lestre, his fellow French countryman. Jordan Molgaem, son of Etulon, he is 11 years of age, this stallion. Second full season together only. This horse that Nicolas co-owns with Laurent Guillet was produced by Rodrigo Gesteda Almeida, the very good Portuguese jockey. And actually was with Rodrigo in the Longines Global Champions Tour of Monte Carlo in July of 2023. Such a huge talent. It's always a pleasure to watch him. He's a pure horseman. By that I mean the feel, the balance, the sheer respect of the animal is so paramount in Nicolas' brain. I think he's one of the best in the business. I love watching him ride, and that's Laurent Guillet celebrating. Great clear for his jockey. Jordan Molgaem comes home, and again, Grand Prix place on Saturday evening showdown guaranteed. This man turned 47 years of age just a week or so ago. Gregory Cotard is on the course, and the world number 194 gets away. Now this is his very good Coquin Duval, who was 6th in the Grand Prix here last year. 4 penalties in the jump-off, second best finish for France the last edition, because Mathieu Biot was 3rd with Lord de Musa last year. Coquin Duval delivered Greg his maiden 5-star Grand Prix win. That was the Audi Prize in Bordeaux, February of last year. It's typically his speed horse, so he's surprised that this horse won him his first 5-star Grand Prix, not BBC. But now, could he stay on 4 penalties? Because I suspect that would be sufficient for Gregory Cotard to eye up the big prize on Saturday evening. This course, delicate, tall, dimensionally impressive. Ilana Vezzani again holds no bars, but now Gregory Cotard is again, like Julien Paillard, a little bit questioning whether he will return. As I say, 56 to start. The best 40 will be back on Saturday for the Grand Prix. But now I'm afraid that is deeply in danger of not being a reality for Gregory Cotard, with a 3rd error out on the course. And Coquin Duval has 3 down for Gregory Cotard. You'll see without the noseband, he likes simple communication with his horses. He doesn't like martingales, nosebands. He keeps it all very, it's unusual. But he likes the horse to be relaxed and as natural as possible. That is his philosophy. Well, now Sana Tyson comes forward, and it is Cupcake Z. She saddles again for GCL round 2 this evening. This is the daughter of Chaco Blue, whose most famous offspring, Ben Mayer's Explosion W. Cupcake Z, 12 years of age, and the dam sign Nissan Caratano Z for Sana. Now, could this be the one to challenge Simon de Lestra's time? Sana Tyson, of course, will have the big prize on Saturday night forefront in her mind, not necessarily the victory in this class individually today. 26 years of age, and what an extraordinary show jumper. Won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Madrid, Conquidam in 2022, won in Valkenswaard with Conquidam August 2023 to beat Max Kuhner, Ben Mayer and Edwin Tops Alexander that afternoon. And Sana Tyson is up on Simon de Lestra's time here. Back to this very imposing Violet Sparrow's Oxa. It's not wide, but it's very tall. But there, the mistake, I'm afraid, into the horses combination. 9A will deny Cupcake another win on the Global Champions Tour because they won. A very good effort it was to win in Doha, leg 1. That was the penultimate class on Sunday morning prior to the Grand Prix. Great effort it was, but the horses vertical, I'm afraid, is the error. Sana Tyson, Cupcake said they have 4 penalties mid part of the course of Milano Vezzani this evening. Our crowd loving the action. Sana Tyson, always such a star to watch. Yeah, Rox, of course, it was going in, just coming down, bellying on the very wide back bar. 160 wide is that entry fence into the combination of 9A and B. The new starter, this man has dropped down 7 places on the world rankings from 15 to 22. His current position on the new ranking list, and Michael van der Vleuten is on the course. The winner of the Grand Prix here in 2023 with Beauville Z NOP, who jumps an immaculate clear round. Madrid in Motion, who lead after GCL round 1 in the team competition. Now, this horse was 8th in the Grand Prix here last year and jumped in Madrid and in Mexico City, both actually GCL second rounds in both of the locations just mentioned. Michael, this is on a Darko, 11 years of age, damside contact Van der Heffink. Yeah, this horse is an absolute powerhouse. He has got no problem with the 160 max height of Milano Vezzani this evening. And the Southern Dutchman, this very twisty late part of the course, it's devilish, the tight turns when the horses are getting a little bit foot weary, but it must be that hard, of course, to separate the best in world show jumping. Michael van der Vleuten cruises home, looking to go better than the 8th place in the Grand Prix they secured last year. It's a very smart clear round for Michael and Obeli van Het Bravosov NOP. The NOP suffix is the Dutch Olympic Committee, which reserves these horses to prevent foreign sale for its championship riders. That is the NOP suffix. Dad Eric, delighted. The new starter, a man who turned his attention from eventing to show jumping very effectively. because he's now world number 370. Aurélien Leroy is on the course. And this, the son of Nick Skelton's wonderful old stallion, Arco III. Vendôme Dick is on the course, number 11. Aurélien was last year in Cannes in 2022 on the Longines Global Champions Tour. He had a superb third place in the Prix Eiffel Challenge in Paris. His other horse, Croiseau de Blagnac, last season. Sees a very deep distance, yeah, too deep, I'm afraid, into the GCL. But just see him working his arms on approach, as if to say this is going to need a really big jump for my horse. Such a deep spot, and I'm afraid successive errors. The Prague playoffs vertical is 7. His father, Pascal Leroy, former top eventer as well. 5th at Badminton Horse Trials in 2014. Pascal dad, that was with Minos de Petre. And Aurélien himself was at 3 Youth Europeans in eventing. And a very good 5th place it was in 2011 in the Young Rider Europeans at home in Jardy in France. Well, good effort it was, but they got in trouble. The GCL at 6, just way too deep, and that would have just given a little loss of concentration, I think, into 7 for the pair of mistakes back to back. So France, as the home nation, not having all their own way outside of Simon de Lestre this evening here in Cannes. First, the pair of mistakes for Aurélien Leroy. Tried so hard the horse to come out over it, but there's 1.60 m wide. I think that's dad Pascal watching on. The new starter, Megan Moissonnier, gets on the course, and Krunetam is her rider. Makes a tight turn into the early 160 vertical. The Liverpool at 3. We really felt for McGann. That was the Nations Cup in Aachen, the Mercedes-Benz prize back in 2022, because she was clear in the first round with Cordial. And that was right when the selectors for France were selecting for the Worlds in Henning. And she had a fall, having lost a shoe with Cordial in the second round, and did not get selected for the Worlds. And that was a real unfortunate moment for Megan. This pair, they won the Bourg-en-Bresse 4-star Grand Prix. That was in mid-May of this year, and Megan Moissonnier is very nicely clear at the halfway stage. That is the uncoupling. She'll now turn to this huge plank. 2 planks in the last 3 fences is a very, very demanding finish to try and stay on 4 penalties here, with a very good chance of returning for the Grand Prix. Great effort from Krunetam and Megan Moissonnier. Having won that Grand Prix in Bourg-en-Bresse, she's based near Bourg-en-Bresse in Laon, up to the just on the flanks of Lyon. Great effort from Megan Moissonnier. Krunetam should be back with the best 40 to return at the end of this GCL round 2. Whether you're individual or running for a team does not matter. We take the best 40 into the Grand Prix here on Saturday evening. They'll cheer, they will chant our wonderful crowd here, because this is one of the best we have ever seen in World Show jumping. John Whittaker graces us once again, and Equine America Unique du Francport is on the course. John turns 70, 5th of August later this year, and Roman Gladiators Stella Newsteining. This pair look very good at Royal Windsor. They were 2nd in the Defender Stakes, behind Jack Whittaker. Rami de la Land won for Jack, John's nephew. Now, yeah, one early mistake, I'm afraid, for John even. This horse, a great veteran now, at 17 years of age. He just retired at Rockefeller de Pleville-Bois Margaux at 20. Eduardo Alvarez Asnar at what is in effect their home base in Madrid. Leg 4 last time, but John, I'm afraid, a 2nd error. That's on this very demanding course it's proving to be. We expected nothing less, of course, from Ilona Vetsani. If you build a dimensionally unimpressive course that is going to have an absolute flood of clear rounds at this level of world show jumping. John comes down to the last line carrying the 3 mistakes this evening, and we sit with just the 4 clears, having now jumped 13 combinations, so it is 1 in 3 that are mastering this real challenge from Uliano Vetsani. The 2 for France, Nicolas Delmotte and Simon de Lestre. The 2 for the Netherlands, Harry Smulders and Michael van der Vleuten. They are the clears. Early days here in GCL round 2. The new starter, Willem Vermeer, we welcome, number 14 of GCL round 2. And this is the son of the mighty Jean-Marcy Van Tiernel. Also won the La Boule Grand Prix a couple of years ago with Beth Underhill for Canada. Damsire is in Doctro, Willem, Damour JM, GZ is on course. This horse owned by Jean-Marie Gregor for Willem. As well, number 88 sets sail. This pair one down in the second round at GCL round 2 in Shanghai. They had a very good second place in behind Zaravin Gralkova. That was in Mexico City in the competition against the clock on Saturday afternoon. Willem Vermeer makes a great little adjustment into the GC Oxford, and then, boy oh boy, explodes off the floor. This horse covers a lot of ground without looking quick necessarily. Very much the same mould as his father, as Willem again bounds down through the double. The horses. Could Belgium be the 3rd nation to post a clear round here for clear round number 5 in GCL round 2, and can leg 5 of the Longines Global Champions Tour 2025 season. Willem, though, yeah, could just see him ramping up there into a big distance. He saw that stride a long way away, but it was just a little bit of a bridge too far, I'm afraid. And the more JMGZ skips out the left side of that Oxer. The penultimate, and really disappointing. Oh, that. Now, Willem's got a little question here. He's not happy about something. Yeah, really frustrating, because the round was swimmingly good, and then to come unstuck so late. As his Grand Prix chances evaporate very quickly here in the south of France. The sport is unforgiving, that is why we love it. It is incredible, the twists and turns, the ups and downs that all of the, whether you're an owner, a rider, a groom, go through week in, week out. The work behind the scenes is grueling. Yes, the prize money is huge, but the work that goes in. I was a groom myself for a good number of years in eventing. You just know the work that everybody puts in to run shows of this quality and to perform at this stupendous level. Frustration for Willem Vermeer, and we certainly commiserate. He's a charming guy. His daughter is getting a very, very strong rider as well. That is Robin. That's a Carolyn, and yeah, we feel for Willem Vermeer late on in a very good round. The crowd brings him home, but devilishly hard for Willem Vermeer. He was right on the cusp of qualifying for the Grand Prix, but the penultimate, I'm afraid, is the unsticking of the Belgian star. And we'll say farewell in terms of Grand Prix qualification. We'll hope to see him tomorrow, but distance wasn't there. The horse, rather than crash through the fence itself, took the left-handed escape route. Still only the 4 clear rounds, and I can tell you there are only 3-4 fault scores as well. Sanna Tyson Megan Mossonier and Krishna Alman are the 4 falters that are in places 5, 6 and 7. This man jumps a quite brilliant open clear round. Avantois in GCL round 1. Hasan Şentürk comes forward as an individual for Turkey. This evening, this is the numero uno contender. Sun Nico gets away number 15. Hasan came in with such an air of confidence and abandon into GCL round 1. It was really punchy. Just ignored the stage that we are on and delivered an awesome clear. One of 21 of the 57 starters only that jumped clear. That was how good he was, and he's backing it up here impressively well. This was out of the DSP, the Saxon stud book in the south of Germany, bred actually by Poland's Zbigniew Szymalowski. Hasan Şentürk is having a sensational Thursday with us in Cannes. This the story of the day for me, because he hasn't got a lot of mileage on the Longines Global Champions Tour. But what's a shame again, late on for the Turk, because he has ridden, I think, magnificently. I've been mighty impressed by Hasan Şentürk today. He will have a few time as well. Will be 4 time-wise to answer the Yates jumping penalties. But Kor came in within touching distance of a second clear round here around Ulyana Vetsani's monster courses. Great day for Hasan Şentürk. Grand Prix qualification, of course, is a little bit in doubt, but it's been wonderful to watch the Turkish talents. Could this be the man to deliver clear round of number 5? Geoffrey Puck, we welcome. The 52-year-old from Salzburg in the northwest of Austria gets to the start line. Geoffrey is ranked number 39 in the world. And this combination were brilliant in the Grand Prix in Doha, 5th that was. Geoffrey Puck to come in behind Abdul Said and Bonami, leg 1 this year. His son Tobias Finkster also competes internationally. This pair won the 4-star Grand Prix on the Doha Tour back in January. They were second as well in the 5-star Grand Prix that was won by Scott Brash and Halo Folie in Doha. But Ekotron Naxel, the 5th, has a surprise early rail. This theme of the day, I was about to say this pair I predicted would be clear, and now doubly wrong. Geoffrey Puck is at his 2nd Longines Global Champions Tour start this year. After the great effort in Doha, not only the 5th in the Grand Prix, 3rd in both GCL round 1 and round 2. But I'm afraid the chances, because Austria actually won the very first Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here, Thomas Fruman that was, and the 6th Sense back in 2006, but a 2nd Austrian win now will fall to Max Kühner. Because again, you would feel 8 penalties, well, it could be enough, of course. We must wait and see. Demanding course with the best 40 to return, whatever the score is. Geoffrey Puck puts himself into a little bit of jeopardy as to whether he will be back here for the big class on Saturday evening here on the Longines Global Champions Tour. The new starter came very close to a beautiful clear round in GCL round 1. Alexa Ferrer had a late mistake, but a new horse for her in this Grand Prix qualification attempt. It is Caitlin van der Heffink, Z on course number 18, for the world number 79. Competed in Cannes last in 2023. She did not qualify for the Grand Prix that year. This horse had a great last outing. They won the 160 Grand Prix at Saint-Tropez-Gassin, the 4-star Grand Prix. But the crowd sigh as the Prague playoffs vertical, I'm afraid, at 7 is the opening blemish. Alexa's first 5-star win was in 2021. She had a very good first 4-star win, actually, May of that same year, to beat Scott Brash at upside jumping Grimaud, but she's had a very good season, came devilishly close to winning the Hermès Grand Prix in Paris, but the last fence fell because was quicker than Simone de Lestre in a bid for her first 5-star Grand Prix win. But late penalties, I'm afraid, for Alexa Ferrer, and she'll be disappointed, of course, into again that trouble zone. 8 penalties, will it be enough? We wait and see. Caitlin van der Heffink Z comes home for Alexa Ferrer combination. Number 17 starts GCL round 2 this evening. This lady jumps a sensational clear round in GCL round 1. It was so composed and convincing. We welcome Geraldine Straumann back to the start with HHS Cornetta. There's the daughter of Cornetta Blensky, crossed to Accorado on course out of the Irish Sport Horse Stud Book. Geraldine had a brilliant 6th place last Saturday, in fact last Sunday, in the Longines Grand Prix of Switzerland. I get confused because the Hamburg Grand Prix was on Saturday with the Derby in Hamburg on Sunday. But traditional in St. Gallen, that was better than Martin Fuchs and Steve Gardin, no less. But I'm afraid the second error comes out of the GCL treble. 5C, the second blemish for Geraldine Straumann. Still only 20 years of age, so she is rising rapidly up the world rankings. Up already to number 327. Competed at 5 Youth Europeans between 2018 and last year in the Netherlands. She was 35th there, behind Oliver Fletcher, who's also here with us in Cannes. Brilliant angle out over the Longines plank. Geraldine Straumann, she's really getting very accomplished at this elite level of world show jumping. She's a star to watch. She will have one for time as well. 80 seconds, the time allowed, 0.9 of a second over that time, plus the 2 errors. But she's had a very good afternoon on the Longines Global Champions Tour with that great GCL round. 1 clear round, 9 it is for HHS Cornetta. Was produced by Mikey Pender and Geraldine Straumann of Switzerland completing. Five more to come at the end of GCL round 2's batch of individual riders as Harry Charles gets started. Harry, world number 32, and this the horse that won him the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in London, Sherlock, last year. That was in the wake of the Olympic team gold in Paris alongside Ben Mayer and Scott Brash. Actually, it was the Cannes leg last year that made Harry realise that this horse, which was one of his possibilities for the Paris Olympics, was not going to be going to Paris because the floodlights were a little bit too much for Sherlock here last year. Harry up on the time of Simone de Lestre and is cruising halfway. Harry spending a lot of time in the USA, his fiancée Eve Jobs, and twin base of the Charles family in Heathcroft Farm in the UK and in Belgium. Sherlock is very easy now down to the back end of this course. Chips in a stride, got very deep into that big oxer. But Harry sits bolt upright, does not move an inch. And France, the Netherlands are going to have British company here because Harry Charles is homebound and it's a stunning clear round. Sherlock ambles home. This man is some cool cat. He's still only 25. For 3 years was world #1 in the U25 rankings. Unflappable. His sister Sienna was very good in GCL round 1. Jos Lansing knows what he's seen. Jos, a world champion in 2006, and I think Harry Charles is a future world champion. We wait and see when. The young guns coming in close order as Max Watchman getting started. He's 21 years of age and world number 206. And this is Lexington on the course, the man who is trained by Cian O'Connor of the mighty Coolmore stable in Ireland. The man from County Tipperary was very impressive in GCL round 1. With an absolutely perfect clear round for Saint-Tropez Pirates. But I'm afraid that very imposing vertical, it's 160 tall, mid part of the GCL line, 5B, toppled by Lexington. This was owned by Grandma Susan Magnia. Bred by Wilhelm Jan Mikkelsen. Max is at his very first Longines Global Champions Tour start this year. But now, can he anchor this round and stay on 4 penalties to give himself a good chance of returning? 56 starters, 40 to come back for the Grand Prix, so you can well see my logic drift. But a 4 penalty score virtually, I think, will secure you a Grand Prix berth on Saturday evening. Super effort for this impressive horseman. Max Watchman gives Lexington a well-deserved pat. He goes into 9th place. Of course, if there was a group on 4 penalties or on 8, it will go to the quicker 4 or 8 penalty rounds that will return for the Grand Prix. Well, that is the superb scene that greets this superb horseman. Koen Verreke getting away. Jumps a brilliant clear round with this horse twice in the 4th place Mexico Amigos, enjoyed in Doha, leg 1 this year. Returns again with Meriwether van der Leder Leuven once again. Clear round in GCL round 1, so again trying to, as an individual now, cement his Grand Prix place here for Saturday. Koen Verreke, yeah, works very hard down at the GCL, so had to sit in deep there, really to generate momentum. Meriwether backs off the Belgian's leg a little bit, and Seats just had to commit. Meriwether again, jinking a little bit. Goggle eye down to the horse's double, but Koen Verreke again secures the ship at the critical moment. This pair had a couple down in the Grand Prix with us in Doha, but Koen Verreke, we would love him to come back on Saturday. He's a charming guy, very calm temperament. And this horse is again going to have, will have a couple of time actually. Looked like a double clear in GCLs around 1 and 2 as they achieved in Doha, but it will be a couple of time penalties. It will not deny Koen Verreke surely a place in the Grand Prix here on Saturday. It's another great exhibition of the man from Vaashut in Belgium. Koen Verreke has 2 on the time, but another great exhibition. Well, Sienna Charles was second in GCL round 1 individually with Chawton, just behind Michael van der Vleuten and Bovo ZNOP. And Sienna is the penultimate individual combination. This is Stardust on course. This mare, she's 15, Chaco Blue's daughter. She makes very quick footwork to right herself into the oxer. Father Peter, like brother, Olympic champion here in Cannes. Sienna 22 years of age. But I'm afraid the back of the GC oxer. Top was at 6, 160 wide it is. This horse won the World Cup in London with Harry back in 2021. And a horse better suited to sand arenas is Harry's verdict. But Sienna, it's a huge afternoon into evening for her. Her debut at 5-star was at Falsterbo in 2023, so only a couple of years at the most elite competition stage of world show jumping. What a huge challenge she is. She's had some very heavy falls and she's had surgery as well. She is some tough, brave cookie. Sienna Charles comes home, just the GC oxer. After second in GCL round 1 will deny her a second clear round, but Grand Prix hopes are alive and well. Staying on 4 penalties is Stardust and Sienna Charles here in Cannes. One more individual to come. And the Brit looking very, very good to return for the big class here on Saturday night. The new starters, Julien Coutin to anchor. And this is his wonderful Blood Diamant Dupont on course. 14-year-old son of Diamant de Semi, cross to Arpège Pierreville. Now this pair, they won the GCL round 2. Best to qualify for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Shanghai. And Blood Diamant is again doing what he does best. He's storming. But yeah, one down. I was just watching the speed, but yes, it was that. Liverpool on a missed my eye at 3. Call us inattentive, but sometimes you just get absorbed in the action. Just watching these close to half-ton horses surging around these arenas at a speeds approaching 30 kilometers an hour. Blood Diamant Dupont. The foot is kept on the gas by Julien Coutin as he will make doubly certain of a quick 4-4 round. Yeah, super round it is. Yes, the early vertical comes at 3, the 1 down for them. But again, always great to watch this pair performing on the World Show jumping stage. Well, at the end of the individual batch of 24 combinations, it is just the 5 clear rounds. The 2 for France, the 2 for the Netherlands, and the 1 for Great Britain. Harry Charles, the Charles family, having a very good afternoon here in Cannes. And here's the confirmation. They are the 5 clears, and Koen Verrek, he is 6th with 2 time penalties. We take a short break from Cannes. Do not go far, the GCL will be starting in just 10 minutes' time. From myself, Ed Holloway, we'll see you soon. This is the sensational French Riviera. A very good evening. Welcome to leg 5 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We are here in Cannes, the City of Stars, for the second leg of GCL. What a brilliant opening leg it was, and 3 teams are out in a tie of first place in effect with 0 scores, but only 3 teams of the 17 that started this afternoon can bring flawless scorecards to the battle here for GCL round 2 this evening. It's a wonderful night here. 22 degrees is cooled, 3 degrees is the drop from the hot afternoon. Everybody having a very good time here. Coastline location. And over the former 7 editions, only Valkenswaard United has won here twice. They won it in 2017 and 18. Prague Lions, they're not far away. They were the champions here in 2022. And Madrid in Motion, one of those 3 teams to have a 0 scorecard, winners here in 2019. Well, the course of Villano Vezzani has proved a mighty challenge once again this evening. We are through the individual total of combinations. There were 24 individuals that came. But these are the standings after 4 legs. Shanghai Swans, having won twice in Mexico and at home in Shanghai, they lead. In a tie for second, winners in Madrid, Valkenswaard United, alongside the season's champions last year and winner of the first leg in Doha, Cannes Stars. The brand new team of Deborah Meyer, Monaco Comets, lie handily in 4th position. And these teams all with work to do, but a long way left on the Longines Global Champions Tour 2025 season for the GCL. We have now 17 teams this year, 14 teams last year. We've swelled our numbers, and we take you back through the highlights of GCL round 1. Monaco Comets. Well, Edwin Thomas Alexander with this huge jump in Coralie de Mise. That was the early blemish. Deborah Meyer watching on. Edwina twice a season's champion, 2011 and 2012 on the Longines Global Champions Tour. And this lady, she was making her very first start for Monaco Comets this afternoon. And the former nurse got into all sorts of trouble, I'm afraid, with crack d'Inquizet. Tough afternoon for Ines Joly. The season's leaders came in, and they want to now extend their advantage. Christian Alman had the early mistake, but this a new horse to 5-star level. And Ben Mayer, Ginger Blue, won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Paris back in 2021, and the world number 2 could not again deliver the clear that the season's leaders would have loved. Valkenswaard United won last time in Madrid, and Oliver Lanceros and Lorenzo De Luca again had a fairly tough afternoon. Lorenzo had 2 down, but then came in the man from Cape Town in South Africa initially, now based at Valkenswaard, and Combal Falgo PS was immaculate for a clear. We waited and waited for the opening team clear, and Madrid in Motion, they delivered it in fine style. It was consummate from Michael van der Vleuten and from Eduardo Alvarez Asnar. They won here in 2019, this team, and they changed the mood here because we'd all seen quite enough of Villano Vezzani's monster. Well, Saint-Tropez Pirates, they were 3rd place in Madrid, their first podium of the season, and Mariano Martinez Bastida delivered a brilliant clear with a Jupp. And then Max Watchman came in, this ice-cold performance from the young Irishman to keep them poised for another podium placing, if not better, tonight here in Cannes. So this is the position after the first round, and it's a huge lead in time terms that Madrid in Motion enjoy over Saint-Tropez Pirates. 13 seconds is their advantage. It's then very tight between Saint-Tropez Pirates and Cannes Stars in 2nd and 3rd, and Prague Lions, former champions here, they are close enough in 4th position. And it was tough watching. Doha Falcons, Julien Coutin was sadly eliminated out of the course for 2 refusals with Z, Ice Cube Z. This course of Villano Vezzani, we take you around. The time allowed is 80 seconds here in Cannes this evening. It's a fascinating serpentine affair that Ilyana Vetsani weaves combinations through. This is the first fence. It's big, 150 square, the orange oxer, and then 8 strides. It walks down to the multicolored vertical, 155 tall at 2. They then turn back. This has gone a lot in GCL. Round 2 for the individuals at 3, 160 tall, the Liverpool. There's a little dogleg run left-handed to the Longines oxer, 150 by 160. And this is then a very sharp turn into the first of the 2 combinations, the GCL treble. 155 tall in is a big vertical, but the mid part is a monster. 160 tall on 2 strides. And then it's going to be 1 stride on 8 meters and 20 after clearing this enormous fence in the middle. Down to the oxer out, and again, this is very wide. 160 in width and 155 tall. It's a very beefy early question. This will come up quickly, the little turn into this skinny oxer. 160 wide, that is the GC oxer fence number 6. And then this big fence right ahead of the big screen. Not easy, the location. It's 160 tall, the Prague playoffs vertical at 7. Then back to this enormous Violet Spirals oxer, 155 tall, but it's not wide, but it's very imposing, that front bar. 5 strides down to the next combination, the horses double 9A, 155 by 160. And then 1 stride on 8 meters and 20 down to the 160 tall max height vertical out, then 9B. It's really challenging later on in the course. This then is a tight turn back to the Feathers oxer, fence 10. Will go down with a touch of a feather. It's 160 in width, and after it is this very sharp turn back to a enormous plank, the Longines vertical 160 tall as it's 11. And then this is a very sharp turn into the final line. The Gold Seahorses oxer 150 by 160. And then it is going to be 6 strides a little bit forward down to the Blue Waves plank. The last fence is at 13. 2 planks in the last 3 fences. It could not be tougher this evening from Ilyana Vetsani. This is the man, he's all smiles. And the combinations have got a little bit more thinking to do than Ilyana, the wonderful charismatic character from Italy. We take you down the start list, and the Paris Panthers, we go in reverse order. Clara Pizzoli alongside Guido Grimaldi. Monica Comets right up there in the season standings. They are the second in, and Edwina Tops-Alexander brings in fellow Castlefield. And a horse change as well for Eileen Mittelino, winner of the Grand Prix last leg in Madrid. Neil Fearon was great the clear round in GCL round 1. And there again, Othello returns. Jeu Vreeling saddles. Paul du Chapeau horse change for Jeu. Emanuele Gaudiano comes in with Shallow's Love PS, this time for Rome Gladiators. John Whittaker bows out. Rick of Linda Barker is alongside the Italian with Tableau, the horse she jumps in round 1. Shanghai Swans, 2 great men, Ben Mayer and Max Kuna. What a formidable pair they look to be for the season's leaders. And the defending champions bring back Jane Richard and Molly Malone. And Manabard Jonsson stays with H&M Indiana. Istanbul Warriors, Ifisiahi sets out round 1. He brings Cantate into round 2. And Oliver Fletcher stays with Hallow William. Basel Cosmopolitans, horse substitution for Andreas Sko and for Michael Duffy. Club Samushi won the Miami Grand Prix last year. Mexico Amigos, Zoe Conter brings H5 Chacofani. And a horse change as well for Kendra Clarissa Brinkop to Enrico de la Pomme. Winners last time in Madrid, Lorenzo de Luca comes with Jacques Paloup this time. Oliver Lanceros stays with Con Balfalgo. And the horse that won the Grand Prix in Mexico, Chaka's Girl Staff, and Manuela Camilli is alongside. Christian Kukuk, the Olympic champion, stays with Saint-Georges. Dennis Lynch brings in Vista Grand for New York Empire, and Robert Murphy has a horse change as well. Eagle van der Wolf, Saka Z. Prague Lions. It's a horse change for Fernando Martinez Sommer to High 5. Tibo Spitz stays with Impress. And Cannes Stars, they have Sophie Hinners. It's Iron Dame's My Prince this time for Sophie. And the winners of the Grand Prix here last year, Messi and Jan-Friedrich Meyer-Zimmermann. Santa Fe Pirates, Dorados comes in for Duarte. And Mariano Martinez Bastida, he stays with Jupp. And Madrid in motion, it's Legend for Eduardo Vaz Asnar. Michael van der Vleuten sits out. Kim Emman comes in for the leaders after GCL round 1 with her superb grey Imagine to anchor this evening. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have your company. And this is the beautiful scene in the south of France. But away from the majesty of the coastline, away from the glamour, this is now intense world-class horse sport. We welcome you to GCL round 2. We go in reverse order, and the back markers after GCL round 1 were the Paris Panthers. And Clara Pezzoli returns with Quarta della Caccia. Only Paris Panthers and Stockholm Hearts have an unchanged roster into round 2. This horse comes out very strong. He looks to some quick start into round 2. He's right up in the hand of Clara Pezzoli. Not easy when they're strong. You've just got to keep your leg on them, otherwise they can lose momentum suddenly. And I'm afraid 2 parts of the treble, 5A and B, on the Italian card. Clara had 29 penalties in the first round, but she only started 5-star level show jumping in Verona in November of last year. So raw to this intense elite stage of show jumping. I'm afraid now problems mounting up very quickly for Clara Pezzoli, who trains with Francesco Tuttoriello. But this is the purpose. You've got to be here to gain the mileage. You leave with a sinking feeling. You leave, of course, head a little bit shaken and sunken, but you've got to gain the mileage, and Clara Pezzoli is doing that in the bounty on the Longines Global Champions Tour. But her round, I'm afraid, is another tough one, and it is going to be time penalties to add. 39 is the opening score in GCL round 2 this evening here in Cannes. I'm sad to say, for Clara Pezzoli and Quarta della Caccia. It's quite dramatic when you come to the south of France to see just how close the Alpes-Maritimes are to the coastline. I've worked a lot in France over the last 10 years, and it's always stunning just seeing how quickly you can go from the mountain regions down to the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. The new starter, this man jumped a very good first round this afternoon for just 1 late mistake. Guido Grimaldi, we welcome for Italy, and this is Gentleman, the second for Paris Panthers. Guido won his very first Grand Prix in his entire career with this horse. That was at Alchira, 4-star Grand Prix no less. That was in mid-January this season. And again, attacking, courageous looking start from Guido as he rolls down to the Oxa. Of course, their team score sullied and blooded, but again, Guido, he's an amateur, so both him and Clara, they're competing against pure professionals. They will be delighted to be here, and just being here, I think, is the feather in their caps. First blemish for Guido out on the course. Works for the family shipping company in Naples in Italy. And trains with a man you've just seen in a kiss and cry a moment or so ago, Luis Felipe Cortizo Gonzalez de Azevedo Filho, who produces his horses when Guido's on business. He'll come back from a business trip quite late actually on in competitive weeks to get aboard the horses. So they do a very good double act together. Guido now homebound. It's a very good afternoon into evening for him here in Cannes. He impresses. Gentleman jumps a pair of very good rounds, and he's certainly pumped up and delighted. As an amateur in this company, you've got to be mighty impressed with Guido Grimaldi's first.
One of the highest scores that we have ever seen in a Global Champions League stage, I'm afraid. 76 penalties for the Paris Panthers. A night to forget that they will see them finish right towards the bottom, only ahead of the Doha Falcons, who were eliminated in round one. The Monaco Comets, powered by the Iron Dames, are next. If you want to join us for the rest of Global Champions League round 2 action live from Cannes, sign up for a GCTV Live Pass. Come and join us here in the stands. Even better, why not? And we'll catch you for the rest of GCL live from the Côte d'Azur.